This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Chez Kane. She's got a solo album coming out on March 12th, self-titled solo album. Welcome to Metal Express Radio.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
If I knew nothing about Chez Kane, how would you describe your music to me?
Okay, so I would say that it's hitting on all of the 80s greats like Rexon, Lee Aaron, a little bit of Def Leppard in there, that kind of feel. And obviously it's very highly influenced by Crazy Lixx style as well, because Danny Rexon of Crazy Lixx wrote the album. So
like I said, your new album comes out in March.
Yes.
It's called Chez Kane, and it was written by Danny Rexon of Crazy Lixx, but this all came together based on a chance meeting you guys had.
Yes, I was very, very fortunate. So basically I started doing some YouTube covers, and Danny Rexon was looking for a singer to front this project, and he came across one of my covers and found me from that, and then it went from there.
So was he always looking for a female for this project?
Yes, he was, yeah.
Okay. Had you heard of Crazy Lixx before this?
Yes, I had. So it was kind of surreal. I got the message and I was like, what? Madness.
Did he already have the album written, or were you able to put your own input into it?
I was able to put my input onto the album, but to be honest, everything that Danny was sending me, I was really, really happy with. He's such a good songwriter. So I didn't want to change everything. He literally sent me these songs and they just felt perfect. And I was like, I can't change anything. They're too good. So he's basically wrote the whole album, but I was allowed to put input in if I wanted to.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the album is sort of a throwback to the 80s, like you said, Lee Aaron, and I think a little Pat Benatar and some Fiona and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very 80s centric, but you were born in the 90s, right?
I was, yeah.
So how did you get introduced to this kind of music? Because I have a daughter that was born in the 90s, and she absolutely hates it.
Oh, really? No. Well, it all stems back to being around 13 years old. And I remember the radio playing in my house, and Pour Some Sugar on Me hit the radio by a bit of Def Leppard, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I just remember dancing around and being like, who the hell is this band? So I had to check them out, and I just became like a massive 80s fan. So my first love for rock music was 80s based.
Awesome.
And yeah, so it's pretty mad. And then obviously my dad loves Rainbow. Then my eldest sister loves Whitesnake, and then my middle sister loves Bon Jovi. So we all had like a mix of 80s going on.
So you sort of had no choice but to become an 80s fan.
Pretty much.
You released a couple of videos ahead of the album's release, Rocket on the Radio. Why don't you talk a little bit about that song?
Okay, so Rocket on the Radio, I think, is one of those fun-loving summer vibe songs. It just hits that feeling where you just feel like you're cruising in the car. It's a good summer song. I'm actually really gutted because Danny and I were supposed to do a music video to that one, but obviously COVID hit after I'd done the video for Too Late for Love. So it was like a hit of COVID, then there was a gap so that I could go and do Too Late for Love, and then COVID hit again, so we couldn't go back out and do I couldn't go back out to Sweden to do a video. So I was gutted because I was really looking forward to it.
You mentioned the other song is Too Late for Love, and that was sort of a do-it-yourself video. I watched the behind the scenes on that one. Why don't you talk a little bit about the song and then a little bit about the video?
So I feel that Too Late for Love is it hits on definitely Vixen vibes. It's got that sass, class, sexy kind of 80s vibe, and we decided that it would be an awesome first single release to hit that nostalgia feeling for everybody and hopefully bring back some memories and try and, you know, revisit that feel. And then obviously I was able to go out to Sweden to do the video, and I feel like the videos hit on that as well. You know, tight leather pants and all that. So yeah, it was awesome.
The candles in the background and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know how long it took to light all those candles?
It looks easy on TV, right?
Yeah. No, it was great fun. I was really fortunate to be able to fly over to Sweden because I didn't think I was going to be able to because of the current world situation. So I was very lucky there.
Are you planning to release any other singles?
I think there's going to be another single that's going to go alongside the release. So it'll probably be out, I think it's going to be around the same day as the release. So to kind of like push the album a bit more with the release.
Do you know what the song is?
I do.
Oh, you don't want to say?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook that you're looking for members for your band. How's that going?
I am. It's going well. I've picked my members.
Oh, good.
So the reason I wanted to do the band auditions was because obviously I know a lot of musicians and I could have asked loads of people, but I wanted to have people audition so that they had the passion for the music and they really wanted it and they took the time to do the audition, and I wanted to maybe discover new talent, which I feel like I have. So yeah, I found some band members and we're hopefully going to get together as soon as we can, and they will be revealed at some point.
Excellent. So everything's a secret. That's fine.
Yeah, everything's a secret. It's just unfolding bit by bit.
Do you have any touring possibilities on the table? Or are you going to start with like some online stuff, do you think?
I'm not sure at the moment because there was an announcement yesterday that they think that all the restrictions for lockdown will be lifted around June time. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to start being able to book some tours because that's what I want to do. I want to get out and be on the road. So hopefully from somewhere after June, fingers crossed.
So you're still doing 80s covers on YouTube. I just saw your Edge of the Broken Heart video, and you've done Open Arms and Love Bites and Cry Little Sister. Good pick, by the way.
Yeah, I love that one.
Had you thought of adding any covers to the new album, or maybe having a side EP or something like that?
Not for this album. Loads of people have said that I should do a covers album, which I probably will at some point because a lot of people have said. So it's something that I'll definitely think about in the future. But there are no covers on this album.
So prior to your first solo album here, you were part of the band Kane'd with your other sisters.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about Kane'd?
Okay, so Kane'd started about, God, it must be the lineup that it is now. I think it was 13 years ago, but obviously me and my sisters have always sung together. We're still very much a band. We're still going. And I'm going to be doing a bit more with Kane'd at some point. It's just very difficult at the moment because of COVID and there's 7 of us, so we can't all get together. So I've been doing my side project and the solo stuff. But yeah, Kane'd is definitely still going. We're a little bit of a different style to this music. A little bit on the heavier side and a bit more modern rock than 80s, but there is still a little bit of 80s in there because we're all very highly influenced from the 80s. So yeah, we're still going ahead and we probably will make another album at some point.
So being out on the road with Kane'd, have you been able to meet any of your 80s musical heroes besides Danny Rexon?
Oh, yes, I have. So we've played a few shows and we've managed to gig with some people that I've loved. So Taiketo is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to meet Danny Vaughan, which is really cool because we kind of built a friendship, and I ended up doing backing vocals on Danny Vaughan's solo album. So that was
great.
Really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. So I was kind of mad. I've met a few people, but we haven't actually gigged with them. So I've met Eric, who was in Heat formerly now. I love Heat.
I know. What's crazy? He's not still in Heat.
I know, it's madness. He's such a good front man. And obviously I've met Reckless Love, which are really cool guys. Yeah, so you're putting me on the spot now. I can't think on the spot.
It's okay. Do you like fangirl out when you meet these people? Because sometimes I fanboy out on stuff.
No, of course not. I have met Joe Elliott from Def Leppard as well, and I've met Cher from Vixen, bassist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been really cool. It's very crazy when you meet people that you look up to. But no, I don't fangirl. Come on.
So, what are your expectations for this solo album? It's a kind of a difficult year for releasing stuff, especially your first album.
Yeah. Okay, so when I took this project on, I didn't know what to expect because obviously it is hitting on that 80s vibe, and I really feel like it's missing in music today, and so does Danny. So I didn't know what to expect with the response, but the response has been absolutely amazing. I love loads of different types of genres of rock, but it always stems back to the 80s. And I really feel at the moment that because the world is so doom and gloom with a lot of things, I feel like it's very uplifting. And it's the kind of music that I'm enjoying listening to at the moment because it is picking my spirits up. So to be able to put myself in that category right now is very uplifting. And the response has been just mind-blowing. I'm actually speechless right now of how amazing everyone has been.
The album is fantastic. That's
Oh,
one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you. I'm like, I never heard of this girl before, and this is probably one of the better debut albums that I've ever listened to, and more people need to know about her.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So you've obviously have played live with Kane'd and not so much solo. What are some of your favorite gigs that you've had in the past?
I always like going to a venue in France. It's called the Pacific Rock in Cergy. We always have a great time there. We've played quite a few of the Hard Rock Hell festivals. I'm not sure if you've heard of those, but it's a chain over in the UK, and they take their festival over to Ibiza as well. So all of those gigs are really cool. And we've played, we toured with Taiketo, actually, I forgot to mention. We toured with Taiketo a couple of years ago, and that tour was in the UK, and that was amazing. So there's so many great venues out there, but I would love to be able to travel to the States. I'd love to do some gigs out there at some point. Yeah, it's just there's been so many good gigs. Obviously, there's been a few bad ones as well, but I think everybody gets those.
Sure. What's one of the bad ones that really sticks out in your mind?
It's not so much that it was bad. It was that the first tour that Kane'd did, we toured with, do you know House of Lords?
I definitely know House of Lords.
Definitely know House of Lords, yeah. So we toured with House of Lords across Europe, and we went to Italy, actually. And we turned up, and we were the first band on, and there was 2 people there. So we played to 2 people, but those 2 people bought an album, so...
There you go.
So it was like one of those gigs where you're like, oh no, we have to go on stage and there's only 2 people there. But it turned out to be all right because they bought an album.
That's when you're supposed to bring your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Fill the room.
See, I used to ask people when I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, and I took a break, but I used to ask people, you ever have a Spinal Tap moment? But I was afraid that in this day and age, people wouldn't know what Spinal Tap was.
No, I've seen Spinal Tap. It's a good movie.
Is there anything else that you wanted to promote that I didn't cover?
I think you pretty much covered it. My album's out March 12th. The 2 singles are up on YouTube, and they're up on most digital download sites and streaming sites if you haven't checked it out yet. I think you pretty much covered everything.
Awesome, and it's a great album, and I'm going to encourage people to buy it, download it, whatever it is, the way people consume music today.
Oh, thank you. Please do.
And thank you for speaking with Metal Express today.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you for having me. It's been great.